Hi everyone, welcome to Arieknits. This is usually a video podcast where I talk about the things that I am knitting or crocheting and pretty much anything yarn related, but today is a special video. It's my first time not doing like your typical knitting video podcast type of content, but today I will be sharing everything that I've knitted and crocheted in 2022. So I'm really excited about this video. I knew when I first started making videos for YouTube that I was really excited for doing like a year-end review just to kind of see like what did I make? How many things did I make? Are there any trends in the things that I've made through the year? And yeah, so the time is finally here. I kind of wish that I did make this video at the end of 2022 and we're already like a week into the new year. But with that, also I've been home from Christmas through the New Year's in Hawaii, so I haven't had the chance to say happy holidays if you celebrate and happy new year to all of you. Thank you so much for being here. If you're returning, thank you for coming back and watching, and if you're new, welcome. I'm trying to remember, like I feel a bit out of practice. Also, if my voice sounds a little different, it's because I unfortunately did get sick on my trip back home during my last week. I did catch a slight cold, which was unfortunate, but I was able to get a lot of knitting in, and yeah, although I will hopefully, I will next weekend film a regular podcast video where I will share what I worked on my trip home. But again, today it's going to be a long video. I did not realize how many things that I have worked on in 2022, but there were a lot of firsts for me, a lot of really exciting things. I feel like 2022 was a kind of like, I really took off with my knitting, as you'll be able to see as I go through everything I've knitted. Oh, and also first things off, my name is Ariel, and I live in Seattle, Washington, and yeah, so that's where I'm filming this podcast. So, or not podcast, this episode for my YouTube. So, with that, let's get started. So, I do want to just talk really high-level overview of the things that I've kind of taken note of for the things that I've made. So, 2022, it was the first year that I started doing test knits, which was really exciting for me, and I love it so much. I love being able to discover new designers and just going through that whole process of helping them test knit a design and kind of getting that kind of early access to a design that I really love and designers that I really love their work. So that has been really awesome and really fun this year. So I'm hoping to continue to doing test knits this year. And also, this might sound kind of silly, but I discovered Surrey yarn for the first time this year, and I literally have not looked back. I love Surrey so much, as you'll probably be able to tell in the projects that I've made this year. So those were kind of the right off the top of my head type of things that stood out to me for 2022. And in summary, according to my Ravelry, which I think I've done a pretty good job of writing down or keeping track of the things that I've knitted, so I might have missed some projects, but really I think most of my major projects I have put in my Ravelry. So according to my Ravelry, I have finished 66 projects in 2022. 17 of those were test knits, and I also wanted to break it down by types of garments or items that I knit because I wanted to see which things it seemed like I like to knit the most. So, I guess I should have put this, my notes are here, so if you see me looking here, it's because my notes are here. So, okay, so I have made about 9 cardigans. I've made, and this is like the most that I've made category, 25 tank tops or shirts. I made 5 shawls, 8 pairs of socks, 14 sweaters, 2 hats, 1 bralette, 1 dress, and 1 bag. So yeah, so that's a lot. I'm hoping also, if you calculate and my math is wrong, I apologize. I've just spent this morning like looking through and grabbing everything out of the drawers and closet and counting it manually. So I think it adds up, but if it doesn't, I apologize. But yeah, so that is the breakdown, and I was considering going through and showing everything by category. So like I show all the socks, all the sweaters, but I thought maybe it would be interesting to show it in the order that I've finished the projects, mostly because that way it, when I'm looking through my notes, it's a bit easier to go through, and also might be interesting to see how or what kinds of things I finished in order throughout the year. And it's also, when I watch other people's 2022, like everything they made in 2022, I do like it when they do it in the order that they finished it. So that's the way we're going to do it, and we're going to see how it works out for this video. Okay, so enough of an intro. I'm just going to get started, and hopefully I'll say all of the information that is interesting to everyone to hear about. Okay, so I have all of my, oh, would it be interesting to show you everything I have lined up here on the side, right here with me. So I'm just gonna reach over and grab what I can and then talk about it. Okay, so first off is over here, and I'm gonna click through on my Ravelry pages here just to make sure, hopefully I have the information all there that I want to say. Okay, first off is the Chunky Batty Tea by Josephine and Carlotta. So I remember when I made this, so I usually go home to Hawaii every winter for the holidays, and I know that I made this while I was in Hawaii, and it's just a really cute, kind of simple top. I like the neckline here, the shape of it, and I made size B according to my notes, and the yarn I used, Lion brand Pima cotton in rose taupe color. I believe this is called a broken rib, and yeah, I mean, it's just a very nice, simple top, really easy to wear and put on, and because it's cotton, it's super wearable when it's hot. And I kind of forgot about this top, not gonna lie, but who knows, maybe in the future I'll make it again. It's definitely something that is very easy to put on and just wear if you need to go somewhere quick or something like that. So yes, Chunky Batty Tea. Okay, now I realize I don't know where I'm going to put everything once I'm done talking about it because they're all stacked. Okay, we'll figure this out. Okay, I'll just put it here. Okay. Oh, and I finished that, again, according to my notes, I finished it on January 1st of 2022. So there we go. Okay. Next one, which is really fun. This is the Foxberry Pullover by Sari Nordland. And I also remember making this because I was making this in Hawaii again when I was back home for the holidays, and this was my first ever test knit. I was kind of nervous because I had no idea what to expect to do for a test knit, but it went super well. I really liked it, and of course I love the end product. I love the sweater. So this is a lace pattern sweater, and it has little baubles, which I really like. Long sleeves. At the end of the sleeves also has that similar pattern there, the lace pattern with the baubles. Really cozy. And I knit size 2, and the yarn I use is Knitting for Olive Merino in the colorway Wild Berries, and I held it with Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair in the colorway Plum Rose. And I love this color. Also, if you can't already tell, pink is my favorite color, so any kinds of shades of pink is just, will most likely be a theme throughout the things that I've knit. Okay, let's see, anything else about this? I think that should be it. Okay. Oh, and I finished this on January 5th. Okay. Fold that up. Next, also, I'm not sure, I realized, don't know if the audio will pick up, but there is a washing machine going on in the background, so if you hear that, that's the washing machine. Okay, next thing, I have my first ever crocheted, I think this is like my first crocheted wearable garment. I think I've crocheted like baskets previously, but this was my first crocheted thing that you could wear, which is really exciting. This is the Flat Iron Shawl by Tony Lipsy. Let me click on this. TL Yarn Crafts is the name. That's the name of the designer, like pattern kind of brand. Okay, so love this pattern. I'm so happy that I started dipping into crochet with this shawl. I believe it was single crocheted with some really cool kind of shaping to make this triangular shawl shape. And it is one size, it's a very nice size. And it's just really cozy. I mean, I am still trying to figure out how to wear shawls. I think for the most part, either wearing it indoors, just wrapped around my shoulders like this, or if I'm going out, just wearing it kind of like a scarf is how I've been trying to work with that. But yeah, so I used Sorella yarn in Classic Sock for this shawl, and I unfortunately did not put in my notes what the colorway names were, but I believe that all four were part of some kind of like winter box collection, or I'm pretty sure I bought it, like all four came as like a holiday set, and I got them one skein each in each color. I did not finish, or I did not use up each of the skeins to make this, but I used up most of it. So I have four colors here, and I love how they look together, and I love this shawl. And also love the edging here for the shawl. I'm going to hide my eyes, so hopefully it does actually focus on the knitted or crocheted thing that I want to show, so hopefully that works. But yeah, Flat Iron Shawl, very happy with this. Highly recommend if you want to kind of get into crocheting and not be too worried about gauge. Like that was my main thing about crocheting like wearable, like a sweater or something, because I'm worried about gauge. Of course you should and always gauge swatch, but I was not sure, so I wanted to start with something that the gauge doesn't really matter too much for a shawl. Okay, and I finished it. I finished this one on January 21st. Okay, should I start saying the dates first before I talk about the thing? We can try it that way. Okay, so then next, which I finished on January 23rd, is the Morecella Cardigan. Oh, I should also have started saying when I started these projects. Apologies. We're still at the beginning, so hopefully I can do that. So I started this on January 12th and finished this on January 23rd, of course, 2022. Morecella Cardigan by Whitney Hayward. I believe I got the pattern off of Harrisville Designs. And yeah, so this is what it looks like. And I made size A. And the yarn I used is Odd Knots and Threads Merino DK in the colorway Smoky Quartz. And I think this is like the only black yarn that I've ever bought. And of course I really like it because of the pops of pink color in there. And I think that it looks really nice in this stitch pattern, which I'm gonna be honest, I forget what it's called. Some kind of broken rib, cartridge rib, maybe. I initially was going to make a different cardigan with this yarn, I remember, but when I started it and it was a stockinette cardigan, I did not like how the color was turning out because it's mostly black, but it does have those hints of pink. I didn't like the striping that was kind of coming out from it in stockinette, and so I think it was a really good move to a cardigan that has a stitch that just makes it look a bit more, I don't know if blended is the right word, but just less stripy. Like obviously there's still stripes, but it's not like lines. So I'm really happy with that. I did and do wear it quite often. Maybe not so much outside, but definitely indoors. It is a cozy one. Okay. Next, I have the Ingrid top here. I started this on January 27th and I finished this on February 3rd. And so Ingrid top by Gregoria Fibers for the pattern, and the yarn I use Sorella yarn classic sock, and I used all of the winter tonals. So I bought the mini set. I believe there's 10 colors in the mini set, and I used the entire mini set to make this top, which I really like. I don't know how I came up with the idea to make like stripes in these colors, because the pattern itself is just, it doesn't have, like the sample is not striped, it's just plain, which I love, but I don't know, something told me to make it in stripes, and I really like the outcome. I honestly actually don't really wear this too much, but I'm hoping to get maybe more wear out of it in the future. We'll see. But I like looking at all of the colors. I think it's a great way to use some minis or some extra yarn that you have lying around, and yeah, so there's that. This came out really cute, I think. Okay. Next up. Oh, I love this one. Okay, so I made the Camisole number 4 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I started this January 25th and I completed it February 13th. And the yarn I used, which is really what gets me so excited, is Paisley Knits yarn. I used the fingering weight base. Oh my gosh, okay, I don't remember what the base is called. It might be Bougie Fingering. It's the one that has, I believe, superwash and silk and mohair, I think, in it. And let me see. Okay, I used so I knit a size small, and I used pretty much exactly 1 skein of yarn. The colorway is Earl Grey, which I love coffee. I will drink tea, but I love coffee more than tea. But when I have tea, I love Earl Grey tea. So I just knew I had to get it, and also this colorway is so good. I love how blended it is, but still variegated the colorway is. It is the perfect brown gray, like there's so much depth in it. I think it looks great in this stitch pattern and this top. It's so comfortable. I'm just so happy with it. It was my first, I believe so, first thing I've knitted using Paisley Knits yarn, and I fell in love with Paisley Knits yarn. So also I want to say 2022 was also a year where I learned about so many more hand-dyed yarn dyers, and so that made me really happy, and I loved working with different yarns, different dye styles, different colorways. Like, I loved it so much, and this makes me so happy. I do want to make this camisole again, and yeah, really perfect to wear for the summer or when it's nice and hot outside. Okay, how are we doing on time? I don't know. Okay, so next up is another test knit. So this was my second test knit. This is the Sweetheart Ribbed Top by Friday Knits, and it's a cropped top. I made the size small. I started this February 14th and I completed it February 27th. And for this one I used, I was not great, I guess, at the beginning of the year putting what colorways I used, but I used Sorella Yarn Classic Sock in 2 different colorways. So one was a solid peachy pink and the other one was the variegated, which has like all of that blue, purple kind of, I don't know if they were speckles, but they were definitely, it was a variegated color. And it turned out really cute with the 2 yarn colorways together. And this top is also super cute and comfortable. I really like the Sweetheart neckline shaping. It was also my first time test knitting for Friday Knits, and I have continued to test knit for her, and I love her designs. And this was a really fun and quick one, and I really liked it again. Okay, hopefully it doesn't feel like I'm going too fast, but again, there are 66 things I want to talk about. I don't want to keep you here for too long. Okay, next up is the Vargo Pullover by Sari Nordland. Also, I realize I love Sari Nordland's design, so there's going to be a lot of stuff from her. And I started this February 19th and finished it March 1st. I made size 2, and I used Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino in the colorway Rose Clay, which is the pink main color, and Dark Mousse, which is the brown color used in the yoke. And I believe that this was the first time I used the Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino yarn. I really like it. It doesn't feel, it's not slippery soft, but it's not itchy either. So I actually really like it. Hoping to use it. I don't know if I've used it again for another project, but I think it's definitely something that I have in the back of my mind to use for a future project. I am really obsessed with the colorway on this. Like, it's really pretty, and it's, I don't know, there's just something about it that looks fancy. Actually, I think all knitwear, I mean, just looks so cool. Like, when you make it yourself, like how, I'm just like, I made this, you know? Do you ever like wear your things, even if you've seen it so many times and you're still just like, I made this? Like, that looks so cool. Yeah, so that's this sweater for me. I really like it, and I think the only thing that sucks is that because the yarn is a bit of a heavier yarn, the weather needs to be a bit colder for, I mean, right now actually is good weather to wear this, but yeah, it's not a year round. Even when it's kind of cold, it has to be like cold outside to wear, but I do love this. Color work, I will say, is not like my favorite thing. The pattern needs to be something special to me for me to go through the whole effort of knitting it, but this one definitely passes that test. It is so pretty. Okay, I think that's it for that one. Oh, also a note on that really quick. I remember that I bought the yarn early because I wanted to test knit it. And then I bought the yarn and I totally forgot to sign up for the test knit. So I didn't test knit it, but I knew I wanted to make it anyway. So I made it. Okay. Excuse me. Okay, next up is a cardigan. This is the Sunday cardigan by Batty Tea. And I made this, so I started March 3rd and I finished it March 8th. What is that? 5 days? Less than a week? I remember I spent so much time. I spent like the entire weekend, whatever weekend that was, making this, and I think that's why I finished it in 5 days. But it also uses, I believe it's bulky weight yarn. I used the We Are Knitters, the Petite Wool yarn for this in the colorway Sky Lovers, which is this peachy pink orangey gray kind of color. And it's just a nice bulky cardigan. I really like the yoke kind of ribbing up here. That was really cool. And yeah, another kind of cozy thing to put on when it's cold. So yeah, that's this cardigan. Ooh, all of the fuzzies are flying everywhere. Okay. Next is this one right here. This is the Una sweater. It has puffed sleeves, short puff sleeves here. And the Una sweater pattern is by Irene Lynn. And I made size 1. The yarn I used was Cardiff Cashmere Classic. I did not write down the colorway name, but it is this really soft lavender purpley color. And yeah, it's really comfortable. It's cashmere, so it's very soft and something that's, again, easy to put on and wear. And I don't know, I remember liking this. I actually remember so I love, of course, the end product, but the body did feel like it took forever to knit. The stitches are pretty small, although I think at this point I've knitted with a smaller gauge. But oh yeah, so I started this January 15th and I finished it March 24th. So it did take me some time, and I have knit a few projects in between while these were on my needles. So it did take me some time to finish, but I'm really happy with it. It's really soft again, and yeah, just something really cute and sophisticated looking. Looks like this is one of those things that looks like you could have bought it in a store. Not that knitted things need to look that way to be nice or fancy, but just something that it's just an observation that I've made and just one of my own opinions. Okay, so that one's that. Next up, ooh, starting on my next stack of sweaters here. Okay, this one was really fun to make. This is the Desert Bloom top by Rachel Kurihara. I made size small, and I used the Sorella yarn in Classic Sport. So it's a sport, I used the sport weight yarn in the colorway Catalina. And I remember that I missed out on this colorway when it came out during a collection because I was like, I need to stop buying yarn. And then I completely regretted not getting it, but it came back during Greatest Hits. So I got it. I'm really happy with it. Very cute pink and purple variegated colorway. I love wrap tops, but I always feel like they don't really fit me too well for some reason, but this one fits really nicely. I always find for me that the V sits too low most of the time in like store-bought things, maybe even some other knitted things that I've tried, but this one fits super nicely, and the ruffle is just really cute. So I would be super down to make this top again because it's really cute. I love wrap tops, and who can say no to a ruffle, right? Yay! Okay. And so I started this March 11th and I finished it April 3rd. So it was a pretty quick knit, I would say. Okay. Do I even bother folding these now? So I put them back. It's taking up all the time. Okay. Next up is just a really cute, short kind of thing. So I made the Lao Lu Shawl by Sari Nordland. It is one size, although you can, of course, like make it bigger if you want to. And this was, as you can tell, kind of a scrap project. I wanted to use some leftover yarn that I had, so I used, from my Foxberry Pullover, was this section here that I believe I started with. So Knitting for Olive Merino Wild Berries held with Knitting for Olive Soft Silk Mohair in Plum Rose. And then once I ran out of the mohair, I moved on and used up the rest of another Knitting for Olive mohair in Plum Clay. So I used that and I switched. And then so this whole thing, I believe, used the Knitting for Olive Merino Wild Berries, and I just switched the mohair colors. And then I used Surrey up here instead, which was Sorella Surrey Lace in the colorway Provence, which is a purple color. So there was no kind of like, I really just wanted to use up some extra mohair and Surrey that I had on hand, but I think it's something that's really cute. I don't know how I would wear this. I think I've looked up how you could wear it. I think you could just put it around like this, or maybe tie it in the front instead so it doesn't fall off. But either way, really fun, cute project for scrap yarn or just leftover yarns you have. Stitch pattern is very interesting and intuitive, and it was a fun knit. So I have kind of like, I've had the thought of making more of these shawls because, again, like they would be good for using up leftover yarn, and so that is definitely a possibility for this coming year to make more of this pattern. Oh, and then dates. I started that on April 6th and I finished it April 9th, so it was a very quick knit. Okay, next I have another test knit. So this is the Coastal Pullover that I made. The pattern is from Bluebird Pine Shop, and this was such a great pattern. Also love the designer, and I made size extra small. I held 2 yarns together for this, so because I believe you can use DK weight yarn, but what I did was I held a sock weight yarn or fingering weight yarn held double. So I used Sorella yarn in the colorway. Okay, so the pink is Boulangerie and the green is Jardin. I think this might have been my first striped sweater, and so that was really fun as well. And the one thing that I really remember like really loving about this sweater is the fit. There's something about the fit of this sweater that just fits so nicely on me. And I also love that there is like a V-neck, but it's really not like a low V, which is super nice. I feel like, again, like there's a lot of V-neck type sweaters that just sit way too low for me, and this one is perfect. Also, when I'm wearing it and I kind of like bend over, it doesn't like fall open. So really love the fit of this. This gets a lot of wear. It's very comfortable, and the stripes were really fun to do. And I just overall just really like the sweater, and the test knit went really well. And yeah, just overall really enjoyed. And it has a split hem, and I love split hems. I think they just add a really like little bit of cuteness to the sweaters. So yeah, this was a test knit, and I started this March 13th and finished it April 15th, so it took just about a month, a little over a month. Okie dokie. Right. Next up, it's so funny because that was called the Coastal Pullover. The next one that I finished was called the, I don't know if it's pronounced Coastal or Costal Tank. This is by Charissa Lamb. And sorry, let me hold it up here. So it has cross straps, so it's a bit hard to like hold it up so you could see the cross straps. Here, maybe I held it like this. There, here. Just have to kind of hold it like that. So it is a cropped tank. Let me see. I made size 2. And this was another one that I knit, or another top I knit using Paisley Knits yarn. I used it, finally I wrote more notes on it. I used the yarn base called Coastal Sock. That's actually kind of funny because everything says coastal. Excuse me. And the colorway I use is Rosé All Day, which also, I mean, I love pink, as I've said I think 100 times. But this is so pretty. It's such a good pink. It has pink, some creamy whites, little patches of like a coral pink. Ooh, it's so good. And the variegated colors are so well blended. It's really, really pretty. I love the construction of this. The only thing that sucks is because, so it's knit bottom up, and so if you run out of yarn, so I again used one skein to make this in my size, and I barely made it to finish the straps. And if you do it, you know, bottom up, you can't really add length, or it's really hard, especially if you're worried about running out of yarn. But yeah, so this is a crop top, but it fits really nicely. I love the stitching detail, like the increases on the side here that you can see just come out from the sides, and the kind of like shaping with the straps and how it comes around on the fronts and the back. I think that looks really cool. And again, it was a really fun top to knit, and I really liked it. And it looks like I finished it pretty quickly, so I started it April 2nd and finished it on April 17th. Okie dokie. I also love finding patterns and projects that I can use one skein of yarn with, especially because I love buying hand-dyed yarns, and I just can't. I love all the colors. There's so many colorways I love, and I just can't. I mean, sweater quantities of every single color is just too much. So if I can find, and I love knitting garments, so when I can find like a tank top that uses one skein, perfect, perfect. Okay, now onto some, I think this is the first, are these the first socks? Yeah, these are the first socks that I finished in 2022. This was a test knit, so this must have been my first sock test knit. These are the Sunday Ruffle socks by Megan Valenti. Let me click and see what. Okay, anyway, sorry, I had to click on my Ravelry thing. So yeah, Sunday Ruffle socks by Megan Valenti. I made the size medium, and the yarn I use is Sorella yarn in nylon sock in the colorway Boulangerie. It's really cute pink coral color. Again, I just love Ruffles. Ruffles definitely had me in 2022. Like, I made a lot of things with Ruffles, and I think that probably will never stop as long as there's patterns with Ruffles because they're just really cute. I think this is the first time that I made socks that had this kind of heel where you knit it just like the toe. So the heel was made after. I think it's different than an afterthought heel because you did, once you knit here, you put stitches on hold just to come back to it, finish the rest, and then come back and knit the heel like this. But it was actually pretty interesting, and I do like learning about different ways to make heels on socks, so this was really fun to make. And the test knit also went really well, so that was a lot of fun. I started that April 5th and finished it on April 17th. Okay, next up is another test knit, it looks like. So here I have, where's the front? I have the August Camisole test knit by Johanna. And let me, what is her, oh, Colibri by Johanna. So that's the designer. And I made size small, so I tested for size small, and I used Sorella Yarn Classic DK, and the colorway I believe is Folklore. It's the really light purple gray colorway from the Taylor Swift collection. So I believe it's Folklore. I did not write the colorway in my notes, but I'm pretty sure it's Folklore. This is a really cute kind of staple tank top piece with cables all around. And yeah, I did get a lot of wear out of this when the weather was nice and warm and wearable for tank tops. So that's that. I started this on March 24th and finished it April 22nd. Okay. Then next up, oh wow, lots of test knits. Okay, another test knit. This is the Poetry Pullover by Sari Nordland. Let me just, ooh, you can see that drape when I do that. Okay. So this is a all-around lace sweater. I think this is my first, like, the entire sweater is lace. And so I made this in size 2. And the yarn I used for this was Lion Brand LB Collection Baby Alpaca. And honestly, I had a bit of a hard time getting gauge on this. I think the yarn said it was a DK weight, but I think it might have been on the lighter side of that. And so I did have to go up like a few needle sizes, which I thought was kind of crazy, but it ended up fitting, which I mean is always great when you're knitting a sweater. So yeah, so this is kind of what it looks like. I think the lace pattern is really pretty, and it was pretty intuitive to follow along the lace chart for this. And doing this in the baby alpaca yarn makes it like super soft and drapey, which I love. I think kind of adds to that really like sophisticated kind of lace pattern here. And I had a really good time knitting this as well. So I started this April 8th and I completed it April 24th. It was a labor of love though. I mean, all over lace for a sweater. Like you can't, for me, like there's some lace patterns or maybe more so cable patterns I can memorize and not have to look at the chart all the time, but this one I did have to look at the chart whenever I worked on it, so it was not something I could just knit and watch TV with. I had to look at the chart for the entirety of making the sweater, but the end result is gorgeous. Okie dokie, I'm going to take a quick sip of water here. Okay, so next up, I think this was my first like sweater or top that I have knit with Surrey, and after this I just went on a Surrey kind of craze. This did it for me with Surrey. So this is the Ranunculus Sweater. I modified it just so that it would have short sleeves instead of the long sleeves. This was actually the second time that I've knit this pattern. I've knit it in, I think, the previous year or some other year before. And this time I wanted to knit a Surrey version, and so I knit it using Sorella, of course, Surrey lace. I love Sorella yarn, by the way. So yeah, Surrey lace in the colorway Provence, and I held it double to make this. And it came out to be a really nice, I don't want to say oversized, but very roomy and breathable top. And it's super soft, super cute. I think the design comes out really nicely with the Surrey. I was kind of worried that it'd be hard to see the design with the Surrey, but I think it does come out really nicely. And I really like the end product. And I wore it a lot during the summer. So yeah, so I knit size 1. This was also another quick knit, which is always really nice and fun. So I started this April 8th and I finished it April 26th. So who knows? I definitely can see myself making another Ranunculus, maybe another Surrey version, just because it's a really quick and easy knit. And I think I didn't write down how much yarn I used for it, but I think it might have just been like, I don't want to say 1 skein, but like if you have leftover 1 or 2, maybe to be safe, 2 skeins of Surrey, this would be a good way to use that up. So yeah, I really like this top as well. And again, it was the second time I used that pattern. 2022 was a year that I think was a year I finally started making things again, like a pattern that I really liked, and making it again because I really liked it. So yeah, Ranunculus. Okie dokie. Next up. Ooh, where'd I go? The list is now getting so long that I need to pay more attention. Okay. Another test knit. I think during the summer was when I really went crazy with the test knits. There were so many awesome designs coming out and I just had to do it. Okay, so I was really excited about this. This is the Strawberry Fields top by Camille. Let me see what her... So on Ravelry, her name is Camille K, just the letter K. And yeah, so Strawberry Fields top. I knit the size extra small, and I use Sorella yarn in Classic Sock in the colorway Terracotta, which I think I bought it for the purpose of making a Strawberry Fields top. I actually wanted to make, and I applied but didn't get to the test knit for the Strawberry Fields. I don't know what it's called, but it's the same strawberry stitch pattern. I'll try and hold it up here. So it looks like strawberries, the stitch pattern. There was one design before this, which I believe had sleeves, and I didn't get into that test knit, but I bought the yarn for it, so I was planning on doing it after the pattern came out, but then this like tank top version came out, and so I ended up using the yarn for that. I love the color and pattern, like how it matches, and I think towards the summer part of last year was when I started to really figure out and really like the pairings of my yarns with the pattern, and this is one of those that I really liked how it looks together, pattern and yarn. So again, the stitch pattern makes it look like strawberries, which is just so cute, and it was really fun and pretty easy to knit. I believe that there was a video tutorial on how to make the stitch pattern, so that wasn't really kind of too hard to figure out once watching the video. And it looks really cute and really nice. And is this right? I started this May 6th and I completed it May 8th. Like 3 days? That seems kind of crazy. It's probably a weekend. It was probably over a weekend. But yeah, so that is this top. Super cute, and I love the color. Okay, the next one that I made I don't have with me because it was a sweater I made for my dad. So hopefully in editing I will be paying attention and I'll put a picture of the sweater here. I made the halibut sweater by Caitlin Hunter for my dad because he really likes fishing, and I thought it was a really cute color work sweater to make because there's fish all over it, and it was just really, really cute. And I made size 3, it looks like, for my dad, and I used, I believe, Swish DK from Knit Picks, I believe. Dark blue, I don't know the color names, but it was a dark blue for the main color and then a light blue for the fish design. It was pretty enjoyable to knit. It's just, you know, because it's a larger size sweater than for myself, it did feel like it was taking a lot longer to make than sweaters I make for myself, but I love the end product and I think my dad liked it as well. And looks like I started it May 12th and I finished it May 26th. And I remember that I was making it in hopes of, so my dad and my sister came up to visit me in May, and I was really wanting, because they live back home in Hawaii, that it's never really sweater weather there, but I really wanted to make this sweater, so I wanted to have it finished either before or while my dad was up here so that he could wear it here where it was a lot cooler weather. And I was knitting on it while he was here, and I was like, I need to finish it before they leave. And it was like maybe 2 days before they were going to leave because the trip was ending, and I finished it and we got to wear it out, and it was really cute. So yeah, really happy with that make. And yeah, who knows, I had thoughts about making one for myself because I really liked it, so that could still be something in the future. Okay, next is a shawl. I started getting into shawls. Is this my first like large knitted shawl? It is big. I think it took maybe 2.5 skeins of fingering weight yarn. Don't know really how to show it here, but here it is. It is the new Poulon Shawl, I don't know how to pronounce it, by Sari Nordland. I saw this design and I knew I had to make it. Was just waiting or figuring out what kind of yarn I wanted to use, and then I saw this colorway. It is Sorella Yarn Classic Sock in the colorway Gold Rush, which is just the perfect gold brown color. And I think it looks really nice with this stitch design. I'm just going to slowly kind of move it up on the screen here. There we go. And let's see. Yes, I remember making this, and I mean, it felt like it was kind of taking a while, but I remember I went through some spurts making this. Like, I got really obsessed and I made like huge progress, and then I would stop and work on like all of my other projects and then come back to it and make huge progress and then stop. And then I was like, at some point when I was reaching the top here where the rows started just getting like, I mean, the rows keep getting longer. I think that's the thing about this one, was when shawls or when triangular things work from the longest or the largest amount of stitches to shorter, it feels like it goes by fast. But when you do it the opposite way, it feels like it goes by long, even if it's like the same amount of stitches. So for this one, it does, as you knit it, the rows get longer and longer, and so it does feel like it starts taking a lot of time. But I remember towards the end, I was like, oh my gosh, you're so close. Like, I think I was here. Like right here, where the stitch design starts changing. And I was like, okay, just finish it. And I think I finished that section in like a weekend. But honestly, I'm looking at the dates, and I started this March 9th, and I finished it, oh no, no, yeah, this took me a while. I started it March 9th, and I finished it May 29th. So what is that, March, April, May? I mean, that's about 3 months. So maybe once a month I had a particular interest in getting a ton of it done, right? I think I did this in 3 sections as far as like actually sitting down and knitting on it like constantly. So 3 months, but it is so pretty. I love the result. And although, again, like I still wasn't sure how to wear a shawl, but I knew I loved the pattern, so I wanted to make it. And then I finally, maybe like, it was before I went on my trip, this most recent trip back home, that it was really cold here and snowing, and I wore this as a scarf, and it was so comfortable. So I think from now on, I'm going to be leaning more into making shawls because I can wear them as scarves, and then, you know, you can just get really cozy with it. So I am really happy with this. I was always like not sure if I'm ever going to wear it, but it's really pretty. And now I think I have a better idea, or more ideas on how to wear it. So that makes me really happy. Okay, so we're gonna keep chugging along here. This is crazy. Okay, I have a couple socks, it looks like, here. So, okay, Test Knit Rosenland Socks by Sari Nordland. I believe that these were part of the summer sock knit along that Sari does every year, or at least, was it the 3rd year or the 4th year? I did it in 2021 and really enjoyed it, and so 2022 I wanted to do it again, and I was able to test knit some of those designs, which was really fun. So these smell good. I think I just washed these. Rosenland Socks, size 1, and I use Sorella Yarn Classic Sock in Terracotta colorway, and it has this nice lace pattern at the top, and then I don't know what this pattern is called, but yeah, it looks really cool. I think it was the first time I've done that. Yeah, started April 20th and finished June 1st. Okay, then socks should be quick for me to talk about, hopefully. Oh, these were a fun one. I believe these were also part of the Sari's summer sock knit along. These were another lace pair. These were called the Ariel Socks. Has nothing to do with me. I believe that she calls, and she has, there's another top called the Ariel top that uses this lace pattern because it kind of looks like mermaid tails, is what she said. So that's why Ariel Socks. But whenever something has my name, I pretty much am like, I want to make it. Is anyone else like that? So Ariel Socks. I used Sorella Yarn nylon sock in the colorway Boulangerie, which is just, I had to use really cute pink colored yarn for socks that were called Ariel Socks. I started this May 26th and finished it June 4th. Yep, so it's really cute. And those were a test knit. Did I say that already? Test knit. Okie dokie, and then I have another Surrey top. I made the Souffle top by Lara Penrose Knits. I was dying to make this when the pattern came out, and I just was not sure what yarn to use. I'm pretty sure the original was made with mohair, and so I was worried about making it in Surrey because I prefer to not use mohair anymore because it's kind of hit or miss if it's itchy for me. But Surrey so far has always worked out for me. So I did use Surrey instead. And so this top part here is a single strand of Surrey and the rest is double strand except for the ruffle. The ruffle is also single strand, I think. I replaced the mohair yarn with Surrey yarn, but I did the same as far as when it said to use it single strand or double, and this is the result. It came out really nice, and I made size 1, and the yarn I use is the Farmer's Daughter Fibers Oh Dang in the colorway Dogtown, which is a dusty pink with some kind of purpley magenta colors in there, and I really like it. And okay, I do want to make the souffle top again because it's really cute, and I think it's just perfect. I think though I did not gauge swatch for this, so it is a little big, and so next time I knit this I will probably go down 1 or 2 needle sizes, but it is still wearable. So that is super nice. And again, suri is just so soft and squishy, so it's so nice to wear. I started that June 4th. Oh, is that right? Also, it says I started it June 4th and I completed it June 5th. I hope that that was a weekend. It has to have been a weekend. It actually sounds about right. I remember it taking me a really short amount of time because I was obsessed with making it and I wanted to have it done so I could wear it. So I believe that that was a weekend. Yeah, okay. Okay, so next up, yes, this one is a project that did take me a while, did not take me a weekend to make. This is the Camisole number 5, which was really, I think still is pretty popular on Instagram. I really wanted to make it, so I finally did last year. And yeah, Camisole number 5 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. I made the size small, and the yarn I used, I'm pretty sure the yarn is from Knit Picks, and I used some kind of fingering weight bare yarn, but I dyed it with avocado. So this is my first hand-dyed avocado yarn, which is really cool. So it made a really like pale brownish pink color, which I think is really cute. And yeah, I will say, so I do like it, but notes for next time. I picked up, I think, too many stitches near the front here, so it kind of is doing this puckering. I love how the armholes look, but I think they go a little too low for me, so next time I would want it to go a little higher. But other than that, it fits pretty nicely and I really like it. So I do want to make another one of these, but yeah, I mean, again, the body just felt like it took forever to make. So I started this April 3rd and I finished it June 9th. I know that this was a project I kept kind of putting off to finish, but yeah. So that is this one. Okay, next up is another pair of socks. So these are the Bits and Bobs socks by Morgan Panage. Let me click on this. Okay, yeah, so the Bits and Bobs socks, which has a really cute, simple, like color work kind of design with like scalloping and just some little cute design there. I made size 2 and I used Sorella yarn nylon sock in the spring tonals. So these were the spring tonals. I bought the mini set, which came with 10 colors, and I used them to make these socks, which I think turned out really cute. It also has the heel that is made kind of like how the toes are made. So that was really fun. You can, of course, I made the heel a different color. And yeah, these are really cute. I think, again, another kind of great design to use up mini skeins or some leftover yarns that you have. So that's that. I do remember making this. So I started it June 10th and I completed it June 11th. Again, I believe that that was a weekend. I think I finished one sock in a day, one sock per day. So yeah, they were pretty quick. Weaving in ends though was not really fun, but that's kind of just how it goes with stripes and multicolored things. But we got through it, so that's all that matters. Okie dokie. All right, moving along. Okay. Ooh, this one was fun. So it's another shawl. I made the Bisu shawl. Don't know how to pronounce it. By Sarah OP, which she is S Knits on Instagram. And okay, first of all, I really love the shape of this shawl. I think it's really fun. So it's pretty much just a really big diamond. It's a little hard for me to show it, but it's symmetrical and it's a really big diamond. And the thing that I love about it is that it uses both, but not held together, like a sock yarn and a suri yarn. I mean, of course you could use whatever yarn you want, but what drew to me was that it used suri on the sides here, which is really fun. So for this, I made size 2. I believe there's 3 sizes. So I made size 2. And the yarn I used was both Sorella, so this variegated colorway here, this pastel-y rainbow color, is in the classic sock base in the colorway Bake, which again is a very pastel-y rainbow color. Sorry for like the folds there, that's just how I had it folded in my drawers. And then the purple colorway here is Suri lace in the colorway Provence. And as you've noticed, like Provence is also the color I use in my Ranunculus. So I had leftovers and used it for this, which was really great. And I love how it turned out. I think the colorways together look really pretty and really cute. I love that it's like a tonal with a variegated. And I think this was also the first time that I used, what is the technique called where you switch? It's called intarsia. Yeah, first time doing intarsia knitting. I think that's what it's called. And the instructions were very clear, and there were also videos, which was super, super, super helpful. And it was so fun. So I do want to make another one of these, and next time I make it, I want to make the biggest size, because that'll be really fun to have as a scarf. You can just wrap it around and be super cozy around the neck. So yeah. Oh yeah, in my notes I say, I love it. Next time I would want to make size 3. So that is this shawl. I started that June 12th and I finished it on June 24th. Okie dokie. So, next up, we're getting into some tank tops here, some more tank tops. So, this is my first crocheted tank top, which is, I think, really cute. This is called the Seascape Scallop Tank Top by Grace, which is under the handle, I think, For the Frills. And yes, okay. So, again, this is crochet. And I did size extra small. I actually went down a hook size, I remember thinking. I was really worried because I think the top says to use a DK weight yarn, but I ended up using a fingering weight yarn because it's what I had, and I thought it would end up being okay, and it ended up being fine. Excuse me, there's so much fuzz. The yarn I used was Sorella Classic Sock in the colorway 1989 from the Taylor Swift collection, which is a variegated purple, magenta, brown, and like an orangey brown kind of color. I think it's very pretty, and I think it turned out really nicely in the crocheted stitch pattern. And what really drew me to this pattern was the scalloped neckline and the tie bows for the straps, which just scallops and bows and ruffles are kind of just all my things. So yeah, so this ended up being really cute and super easy again to wear, which is always really nice when things are easy to wear and put on. And yeah, just really like this. So it seems like I finished this pretty quickly. I started this June 5th and completed it on June 25th. So that felt really good to have like a crocheted top done. Okay, so next I have another test knit, and this is the Kutar top by Sari Nordland. I love Sari Nordland. And I test knit size 1, and the yarn I used was Knit Picks Simply Cotton Organic Fingering, and it's just the bare colorway, so it's not dyed any color, but I think the white color really brings out the lace pattern, which is on both the front and the back. And I just really like the lace pattern a lot, and I also love the shape of this top. So that's what drew me to the design. Really happy I was able to test knit that. And I also really like the folded hem. I really like folded hems, in my opinion. Yeah, really cute, and I'm really happy I knit this in cotton because it makes it really nice and breathable to wear in the summer. And yes, so I started this June 18th and completed it on June 30th. And then next up is another tank top. So this is the June Top Light by Petite Knit. I made the size extra small, and I remember that I didn't have a small enough needle size to make it, so I just used it with the smallest one I had, which was a US 2. So my gauge is off. It's a little big, but it honestly is pretty fine. Like, it's a little wide, especially at like the neck area, but honestly it's like totally fine. And I use Woolberry Fiber Co. in the base, Berry Natural Sock. So it's a non-superwash yarn. It's not itchy, which is really nice. And the colorway I use is Garden Party, which is a lavender purple with some really light brown colors in there. And this was another, wait, I think I got those dates wrong. So I think I started in July 3rd and finished it July 6th. That sounds about right. I got those dates switched up. But yeah, so this June Top Light, extra small, simple, and a really nice basic tank top. The back neckline is deeper than the front, which I think also adds to that kind of like, it's a simple top, but there's just those small details that make it extra cute. Definitely a pattern I can see myself making again. And maybe the next time I'll actually use a smaller needle size. And then next up is, oh, this is one of my favorite cardigans because of the colors that I chose for this. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is the Amy cardigan by Hiiii Locatelli. And I made size 2. And the colors I used, so I can't take full credit for this color combo because really what I did was when Sorella came out with her summer tonals last year, she paired some of them in kind of like, not bundles, but like on her Instagram when she was sharing the colorways, she kind of put some of them together, and this was one of the color combinations, I'm pretty sure, or was it? Well, I definitely got inspired by one of her color combinations she posted on her Instagram, and this is the result, and it's such a good color combination, 5 colors, so all of them are using the classic sock base from Sorella. And so let's see if I get this right. So the brown is colorway Teak, yellow is Golden Hour, the pink is Parasol, this really light pink / white is called Pearl, and then the gray is called Driftwood. And it is a really good color combination. I'm really happy with how it came out. And yeah, I think this pattern, I did not use the full skein for each of the colors to make this in the size 2, which is what I made. So it's really good if you have like one-off skeins kind of laying around and you wanted to make it, you have a nice color combination or any color combination you want, you can make this cardigan, which I think is really, really pretty. And I love this color combination. So good. And I started this on June 23rd and completed it July 10th. Okay, and then next is another favorite. I am starting to get into, so I love all my knits, but towards the ending half of last year, I was like loving everything that I've been making. I think because the yarn combinations and the patterns just have been, they were just so good. I don't know what it was, but okay. So this is the Miles shirt jacket, and it is amazing. So Miles shirt jacket by Ozetta. I made the size extra small, and I did use the recommended yarn, which is Wool Dreamers Manchalope yarn, which is an unspun wool yarn. And I use the colorway, I don't want to say it, but it's the gray color. So I love this pattern, and I love the end result. I can definitely see why people love, and well, let's first talk about the hem here. There's huge pockets, and this hem is a curved hem, and that is just like everything. And so I really like this pattern, and the yarn is really cool. Feels really nice. I think it's like, because it's the first time I've used unspun yarn, and I have to say I didn't really enjoy using it. I think I would definitely give it another try, but because it kept breaking on me, I just could not get my tension right. I went down a needle size, but I just did not hit gauge. I think I could have gone down 1 or 2 more needle sizes, but the yarn just kept breaking, and it was really annoying to me. I don't know how people are able to get a smaller gauge without breaking their yarn. And then I love tubular bind-offs, but I could not do tubular bind-off with this yarn. It kept breaking, and then it was just, honestly, just a bit annoying. So I think it's definitely me. If I got more practice, I could probably figure it out, or I had more patience, but I didn't. So I ended up with a very oversized shirt jacket, but it's perfect. So I can layer it over literally anything. It's so, even though it's so bulky and it looks like it takes up a lot of room, like it's really lightweight and warm, which is really great. So I love this. The yarn is beautiful, but I just don't know. I'm going to have to wait for a time when I'm a lot more patient if I'm going to try to use that yarn again. So yeah, but I love this pattern. I love the yarn as far as with the end product. And yeah, so I started this May 9th and I finished it July 10th. Did it really take me that long? I guess so. Maybe because I had to keep kind of putting it on the side when I got frustrated with the yarn. But it has nothing to do, like the yarn is great. I personally had issues with working with it. But it's a good pairing, and the pattern is amazing. So, and as you'll see later, I did make it again. In the same year? Yes. But not with the same yarn. But yes, Miles shirt jacket, my first one. Okay. We're keeping it going. Oh, the next one is the one that I am wearing. So I will stand up so you can see this fully. This is the Malwina sweater by Alex of Varin Rose on Instagram. And yeah, I'm just basically trying to just show all of the details here. It has this really cute, like where the raglan, like, would you call these raglan stitches? Like there's a really cute lace pattern there. There's really cute like balloon sleeves and lace pattern at the bottom of the sleeves. And just stockinette, ribbed, double rib, 2x2 rib on the hem and the cuffs. and the collar. Love this sweater. So I made it in the size extra small, and I held 2 yarns together to make this. I used woolberry for both, so the gray color, I used the berry DK yarn in the colorway The Weekend, which is gray, and with it I used a Surrey, which is the base called Berry Surrey from Woolberry, in the colorway I'd Like a Life, which is actually, surprisingly, it was this like pink, yellow, golden colorway, but when you pair it with the gray, it just makes the gray look really soft and fluffy, and with just those hints of like pink and golden yellow, which I really like. And I think it pairs really nicely. And it was my first time, I think, pairing a variegated Surrey with a tonal colorway, and I think it came out really nice. Both colorways were from the Downton Abbey collection, and it came out perfect. And I think, if I'm looking, this might have been my first like Surrey sweater that has sleeves. Is that right? It might be. It might be my first Surrey sweater that has sleeves. I made like those not tank tops, but like t-shirts, like the Souffle and the Ranunculus, but this was my first one with like full sleeves. I wanted to see if it would feel just as comfy, and it is just as comfortable and soft and squishy, and I really, really like it. So that is the Malwina sweater. And I started this on July 4th and finished it July 24th. Then I made a fun little thing here. This is the, let me hold it up. There was stuff in it. There are balls of yarn in here. This is the bindle bag by Ozetta. Kind of looks like a bunny. It has like ears. Also kind of reminds me of a bag, like a bento bag that you would wrap like bento boxes in, like for lunch. And yeah, so I feel like there were multiple sizes for this bag. So I made size 1, and I pretty much just used the leftover yarn that I had to make this. So this bag is really another like nice way to use up leftover yarn that you may have. And so I used as like the main yarn, like this dark gray, was actually the Manchalope yarn that I had left over from my Miles shirt jacket. And then I paired it with a mohair. And then when I ran out for the straps, I used some leftover, I think, gray sock yarn with actually the same Surrey that I used for this sweater. And I used it for the straps here. So again, a nice way to like use up some yarn. And the straps actually make it look kind of cute as a different color. Kind of makes it look like bunny ears or something. But yeah, so the bindle bag, I also made this really quickly, so I started it July 27th and finished it July 28th, which I keep saying this when I see the dates look crazy like that. It's probably a weekend. I definitely want to make this again. I think it'll be really good to put like small things in. And like I said, I mean, I can open it and show you. It's just holding a whole bunch of balls of yarn that I have of extra things. Perfect. Okay. Then these were socks by Sari Nordland. They were another pattern, I think the third pattern for the summer sock knit along. And did I say the Peregrine socks by Sari Nordland? And I used Sorella Classic Sock in the colorway Jardin, which is a really soft green color. I actually really like this sock pattern. I'm going to put my hand in it so you can see the top. Like, I really, really like this cable pattern. Not only does it have these diamonds that kind of, you know, change shape, but in this middle diamond, there's like a small cable twist in it. And I think it looks really, really cute. Also, there's a couple things that I learned after I made these socks. So I believe these were toe up which is really fun because then you can kind of like use up yarn that way. And then what else? So I learned that I think if I had to choose between cabled socks for the design or lace socks, I think after doing this summer knit along, because the other socks were lace patterns, I think lace socks are really pretty, but as far as wearing them, I think the cabled socks are the way to go. I want to make this pattern again because I really, really like it. And I believe this was the first time that I used cable. I did not use like a cable. I learned how to do cables without needing an extra like cable needle. Although I've never had an actual cable needle, I just use an extra knitting needle I had on hand. But this was, I think, the first time I knitted cables without a separate cable needle. So also made it go by a bit faster, I think, doing it that way. I really like the design of these socks. I think they're really cute. So I do want to make this pattern again for sure. I started that July 12th and I finished it July 31st. Okay, just checking time here. My camera switches off like every 30 minutes, which is really annoying. So I just have to like watch it and there'll just be some cuts like every 30 minutes. Ooh, okay, this next one was one of my like favorite things, and like I think honestly like the prettiest thing that I've knitted this year. It is the Zosha wrap cardigan. I was lucky to test knit this for Alex from Varin Rose, same designer who designed this Malina sweater that I'm wearing. I test knitted size extra small, and I know that this whole time I've been saying that 2022 was a year of Suri for me, but I actually did use mohair for this, and surprisingly it was not itchy, which makes me so happy. But it created like the softest, dreamiest wrap cardigan. The only thing that sucks is if you're not wearing it, it's really hard to hold this up. So I'm trying my best. It is a wrap cardigan with sleeves, and it has like the biggest, prettiest bow on the side here that just wraps around. And when I saw Alex post this design on her Instagram, I had to know how the stitch design was made because it just looks so, I don't really have words for it. Like, oh, does the camera even do it justice? Like, this stitch design is just so, it's like ribbed, but like fancy. They're not dropped stitches. Oh no, they are dropped stitches, I think. You pick up from below. But I just love how that stitch design looks on this, and the wrap and the bow, and it's just so pretty. And it's so soft and dreamy and airy, and I really like it. And it's perfect to put and layer over a dress, which is how I wore it for my finished object pictures. And this was just one of those really like awesome things that I think I knit last year. It was just really, really cool. The waistband with the tie did take really, really long to make, but totally worth it for that really nice bow. And yeah, so like I've mentioned, so I use mohair for this, not Suri. I use Knitting for Olive soft silk mohair in the colorway Soft Rose. I think I took pretty much like 10 skeins of that. It's held double for the pattern, so that's why it kind of seems like a lot, but totally worth it. I love the color I chose. And looks like I started on June 30th and I finished it July 31st. Okay, where is my next one? Alright, these are the last pattern for the Sari Nordland Summer Sock Knit Along. These are the Rosenland Socks. Really cute. I think it's really neat how Sari does her summer sock knit-alongs because it'll be one sock pattern for each month for 4 months. So there's 4 sock patterns, and it's usually, at least when I've seen it and done it, it's the idea. You can use whatever yarn you want, of course, but the idea would be you use 3 skeins of yarn. So the first 3 would be 1 in each color, and the last one would use the leftovers of all 3 colors. I did not have leftovers of the green from the Peregrine socks, but so I replaced it with this brown, it's Gold Rush from Sorella. And then the other ones, I believe, this one's terracotta and this one is boulangerie, I think. So again, I just love sock patterns that kind of use up, they use multiple colors, so you can use mini skeins or leftovers that you have. And these are like lace patterns, and I like that it creates like a wave with how it just kind of all works out. And I think these were really cute. Yeah, so these are the Rosenland Socks. I did finish these pretty quickly, so I started August 2nd and I finished August 6th. Okay, next. Okay, we're on to our, are we around the halfway point, I hope? Okay, so, oh, this is the other, so do you remember I said that I made some Ariel socks by Sari Nordland? Well, she also made a pattern called the Ariel top. And this is the Ariel top. So it's the same lace pattern, but it's for a tank top. And again, because it has my name, it's not named after me, but because it's called Ariel, I really had to make it. But also I love the pattern, which makes it even more I have to make it. So this is the Ariel top by Sari Nordland. I made size 2, and the yarn I use, Woolberry Fiber Coat in the base Berry DK in the colorway I Don't Doubt from the Downton Abbey collection. And this colorway is light pink with some magenta purpley pinks with also some green, just like hints of green, which makes it look very kind of like garden-y to me, or that's the vibe I get, very flowery, which I think went really well with the lace pattern for this top. And yeah, so I started this July 4th and finished it August 7th. Really cute top. Okie dokie. Next is a test knit. Oh, I love this one too. Okay, so this is the Miles Tea by Ozetta. So this is like part of the whole Miles type patterns by Ozetta. So like the Miles shirt jacket, this is the Miles Tea. It has that signature was a hem here, which it's just that extra detail that makes it look really special. And for the Miles Tea specifically, the back has this lace detail that's also super, super cute. So lucky I got to test knit this. I'm really, really happy with the result. I wore it a lot when the weather was warmer outside. I made size extra small, and I used Explorer Knits in the Cashmere Caverns sock base in the colorway Killarney National Park, which just, it makes that, I'm not a green person. I never thought I was a green person, but I think because there are hints of pink in here that, like, I do love this colorway. It's, I think, what's getting me to broaden my horizons with different colors that are not pink. Although there is pink in here, and that's honestly probably why I love it. But this, it's just so good. Really easy to wear and put on. And I really want to make it again. I know I will make it again. Maybe I'll make it in a solid color next time to see how that is, but I also love it in this variegated color. And I finished this pretty quickly. I think I started August 10th and I finished it August 20th. Okay. Yeah, I love that Miles Tea so much. Okay, next up is a tank top. And this looks weird if you're not wearing it. It just looks very skinny. But because it's ribbed, it stretches when you wear it. So it does fit. This is the Lunch at Tiffany's blouse by Anne Catherine. And maybe I'll try and like stretch it over even though I'm not like wearing it. So it is a little cropped. Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna have to like put it on for it to, but trust me, it's cute. So this is a ribbed top. And again, like, I wouldn't say it's like a wrap, but I do like that it kind of overlaps to make that V-neck. Like, I really do like tops that do that. So that is what drew me to this design. This is the back. And it is a 2x2 rib at the top here, and then down here it's a 1x1 twisted rib, which I think is really cute and kind of like just adds to the design. I made, and this seems really weird, but I did look at the size chart. So for this pattern, I knit the size extra, extra, extra small. And I think it's because it's just really, really stretchy. And so it does fit, and it's not like super tight. So it does fit. And yeah, so let's see what else. Oh, the yarn I use, I love the yarn I used for this. I think it works really nicely with it. I used Woolberry Fiber Co. in Berry Sport. And I used the colorway Creamsicle, which is the perfect creamy white with pink, peachy pinks, and orange kind of scattered about. It makes it look really, really cute. I just love it so much. I love this colorway. Yeah. I started this July 30th and I finished it August 22nd. So yeah, I really like how, again, I really have been enjoying towards the end of the year my pairings of colorways to the pattern. And I hope you also think I chose well as well. I really like it. Okay. And then I have a test knit next to talk about. Oh, this is also so good. Also, the sun is starting to shine in. It was like rainy all weekend, and so I was worried about lighting for this video, but there's some sun to start showing through the clouds towards the end of today, which is really nice. Okay, apologies for where I folded it. There's like a folded line in the middle there, but this is the 05 tie side tank test knit I did for Eleanor Alice. And again, bow ties are another thing that just totally get me, along with ruffles and suri and what else? I mean, I love ties. So when I saw this pattern and it had ties on both sides, I really needed it. I needed this pattern. And so I made size 3. The yarn I used was Knitting for Olive Pure Silk, which is the first time I used the yarn, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I want to use that yarn again. And I used the colorway Plum Rose. And this is also the first time I've knitted a stitch like this. I believe it's called like a single basket weave stitch. And I think it came out really cute. And I love really all of the, I mean, it looks amazing. But the side details is totally what gets me. So the way that it connects the front and back kind of does that overlapping thing. There's something about overlapping things that I really like in details. And then, of course, the little side bow ties to kind of close together sides. Just really gets me. It's so cute. The pure silk yarn works really well, and it's very wearable and breathable, and I did wear it in Hawaii, and I had no problem. Was not too hot to wear. I started this August 9th and finished it August 27th. Okay, I had to change out the battery because I think this is the longest. I had a fully charged battery. This is the longest I think I've talked for a video. But we're just gonna keep going because we still have more things to talk about. Okay, next up is another test knit. And this is my first ever knitted dress. This is the Daphne dress by Friday Knits. So it's gonna be hard to show you like the entire thing. Maybe if I held it up here. Daphne dress, and I knitted the size extra small. I used for the main like body and skirt, I used Wool and the Gang, the one merino in the colorway Cameo Rose, which is very light baby pink. And then for the sleeves, oh my gosh, the sleeves I just love. The ruffles all around the neckline. I use Explorer Knits Surrey Alpaca Lace in the colorway Summer Solstice, which I think matches really nicely. I was really worried about my choice for it, but I think it ended up being really, really cute and matching and just looks really, really fun. And I'm really happy with how this came out. So it looks like I started this July 15th and I finished it September 8th. And just to show some of the back, like the back detail, it's really cute. This didn't take me as long as I thought it would for a knitted dress, but I think it's because the yarn is kind of I forget what like weight yarn it is, but it is on the heavier side, so it did go by pretty quickly, but I am happy with the result. And again, I like my choice of sleeves colorway with the main body of the dress. So yeah, first dress, and it was a test knit, and it was really fun to make. Okay, put that there. Then next up, I think this is one of my, I want to say one of my favorite, this might be my favorite cardigan that I've knit so far. Ooh, it's a good one. This is the Go Gently cardigan by Amy Sher, and this is one that I love the pairing of the yarn and pattern I decided to make for this. So I made size 1, and the yarn I used, I held 2 yarns together. I used Woolberry Berry Merino in Saltwater Taffy, which is the variegated color, so it is the blue and pink color, and it's a kind of like sandy creamy base. And then I paired it with the Woolberry Berry Surrey base in the colorway Coral, which is like the perfect pink coral, but not too orangey pink. I wish I bought more of that colorway because it is so good, but pairing it together for this is just, ooh, it makes me feel so happy looking at it. It's so cozy. I love, can we talk about this ruffle? Because it's like a lace pattern, but in the ruffle, and it just makes it that much more extra special. And then the buttons I bought, they're kind of more, they're not plastic. They're more of a heavier button, more fancy. But because I loved how the cardigan came out, I wanted to go and get something more than just like a plastic button. I mean, plastic buttons are fine, wooden buttons are fine, but I wanted to go with something a little extra. So I bought these buttons from La Mercerie, and I think they match it really nice. I love this cardigan, also because it's Surrey. It's so soft, so comfortable to wear, so easy to wear, and it makes me so happy. Like every time I look at it, it makes me so happy. And I also finished this really quickly because the whole process of making it was just so enjoyable. I have no idea what it was about it, but I made the sleeves flat, like not in the round, and I had the seam up the sides, but it didn't really bother me that much. Like, there was something about this pattern. It was probably the combination of the pattern and the yarn that I love making so much. So I really I think I worked on this like exclusively until I finished it from start to finish. I started this August 26th and I finished it September 9th. And I love this cardigan so much. So much. Okay, gotta put it away before I get obsessed again. Okay. Next up, I have a shawl. Oops, okay. So this is the Poulon Shawl. It looks so good. So this is Poulon Shawl by Paula Leme. And I use Woolberry Vargo Berry DK in the colorway Sympathy Butters No Parsnips, which is it's from the Downton Abbey collection. And I'm kind of like, it's all gray, so I'm kind of blending in, but I think it looks really pretty as a shawl, but also, I mean, again, as a scarf, which is how I think I want to at least start wearing all the shawls that I make. Am I making a mess here? Yeah, here we go. I saw it worn as a scarf, and I love kind of like the big kind of ruffle thing that's going on, and so that's kind of the main reason why I made it in the first place. And I really like the end result. Since it used DK weight yarn, it went pretty quickly. And again, just really like it. So I started this June 14th and I finished it September 10th. Yeah. Another shawl. How do people fold shawls? I guess, yeah, because mostly shawls are like not square, right? Or at least the ones I saw, and they're just kind of, I don't really know how to fold them. So anyway, it's gonna get folded in some kind of way. Okay. Next. Okay, I found a great pattern for extra DK weight yarn. So this is the DK Sugar Boo Bralette by Kadri. I made size extra small. I think next time I'll make one size smaller, but it still fits fine. I wouldn't wear this as like a replacement for a bra, but I would probably wear it if I didn't want to wear like a full like tank top underneath with something on top of it is kind of how I'd wear it, or just to be comfortable. But I think it's a great way to use up extra yarn. I actually completely used up, I'm just going to hold it upside down for now because of the straps, but yeah, so I used Sorella Classic DK yarn. I had 80 grams of yarn left in the colorway Sven, and I used like literally like all of it up except for just like a little bit left over, but it was perfect to make this. So now I know that I can use, if I have that much yarn left over of DK weight, I can make one of these Sugar Boo bralettes, which is really nice. And this was another quick knit, so I started September 26th and I finished September 28th. Okay, then next I have the Moon Crush Tank by Jacqueline Cieslak. It looks really good on camera. So this is an intarsia knit. To make those colors, you knit the front fully and then the back, so it's knit flat, and then you seam it together. This is a cropped top. I used leftover Sorella yarn from my Amy cardigan, which I was telling you about. Used the 3 of the leftover yarns to make this top, which is again a really nice way to use up yarn that you have left lying around. And so again with the colors, the brown is teak, pink is parasol, and the yellow is golden hour from the Sorella Summer Tonals. I love this, excuse me. I love Sorella's Summer Tonals, so I can't wait for them to hopefully come back again this year. And this top is really cute. I think it's a little too cropped for me to wear as a like top by itself, but I would definitely wear it with like Either I'd have to have really high-waisted pants or like over a dress, kind of like a vest. It would be really cute with that. I started this June 30th and I completed it October 2nd. I think I could knit like one side in a day or two. And I remember I had the front completed and I didn't cast on the back for a while. And then I decided to just get it over with and just do it, seam it together. And yeah, I'm happy I did because it is a really cute top. And is a contender to make again if I have some leftover yarns. Okay, and then I have another pullover. So here it is. This is the Lighthouse Keeper Pullover by Lindsay Fowler from the Salt and Timber book, which is my first ever knitting book that I bought. So that was really exciting. And the colorway, maybe if I hold it closer to the camera, you can see the colorway better. So I use 2 yarns held together. The main yarn I use is Cascade Yarns, Cascade 220 in the colorway 8010 Natural. So it's just a natural white cream color. And then I paired it with Explorer Knits and Fibers Surrey Alpaca Lace yarn in the colorway Peaches and Cream. So together it makes a really, really subtle peaches and cream look. So very like peachy, pink, orangey sweater without it being too variegated looking. And I really like how that combination looks. I love I don't know if you call this slip stitch detail, but that kind of like stripe deep detail there. And I like the fit, I like how it looks. I made size 5 and I started this September 21st. I started this September 21st and I finished it on October 2nd. Very happy with it. I think first time knitting from a pattern in a book versus like I usually get my patterns on Ravelry and just have them on my computer. That's like my preferred way of knitting, but the book was pretty nice. So very interesting and fun. I like the end product. Okay, then how are you all doing? We are almost there, don't worry. Okay, so again, because I just got the Salt and Timber book, I wanted to make another pattern from it, and so I made the Marine Layer Socks, again by Lindsay Fowler from the Salt and Timber book. I made size 2. Ooh, they still smell good from when I washed them. And I used 2 yarns. I used Woolberry in Berry Sock and Berry Surrey in the same colorway for both. I'd Like a Life, which is a pink and gold yellow colorway, and so up here I held it with the Surrey, so the Surrey is just used up here and the rest is just with the sock yarn. And after I made these socks, I realized like, oh, I want to put Surrey on like all the cuffs or leg part of all of my socks, which I haven't done yet, but I think I should. It would also be a great way to use up extra Surrey that you have, just to put it on the cuffs or the leg part of socks, and they make them extra cozy. I was worried about Surrey on feet, but they're very comfortable, at least over on this part of the sock. So these have been getting a lot of wear out of me, which is great. I started that September 20th and finished it on October 5th. Okie dokie. Next is the Peony Sweater by Sylvia Reginato. It has a double knitted collar, a V-neck, and I did the version that has cables across the body. And I wanted this to be something that was very easy to pull over whatever I'm wearing in case it gets cold and just to be really comfortable in. I made size A and has long sleeves. It's very comfortable and oversized, although it doesn't look that, I think it could have been more oversized, but I started knitting really tight around the body because of the cables, so it could have been even more oversized, but yeah. The yarn I used, Morecella Classic Sock in the colorway You Are Good for the Soul, which is the tonal pink, and then I used Morecella Surrey Lace in the colorway The Lobby, which is what gives it that variegated color. And again, just anything with Surrey just makes it, the sweater, just that much more comfortable, and so this has been kind of a go-to to just put over whatever I'm wearing when things get cold inside. Yeah, and very interesting colors I think I chose for this. So that is that. And I started this August 23rd and finished it October 9th. Okie dokie. Where do I put all of these sweaters that I've just talked about? Okay, next is a crochet project. This is the Fion vest by Holly Woodward Designs, and it is crochet. So I got another, I remember when I made this, I was itching to make something crocheted, and so I saw this pattern and really liked it and decided to make it. So I made size extra small, and the yarn I used is Line Brand Color Theory, which is the 2 of Wands line brand yarn, and I used the colorway Provence, which is a purple lavender color, and I just really like the details on here. It was very simple to follow, and yeah, again, I'm not really that much of a crocheter, so the fact that I could follow along this pattern and it turned out really cute in the way that I was hoping is always a win. I'm always a bit worried for crochet projects in that way, but yeah, it came out really cute, I think. I started this October 14th and finished it October 16th. So it went by really fast and really cute, which is always the goal, I think, at least for me. Okay, next up is, it's one of my other absolute favorites that I will be making more of for sure. It's the Cumulus blouse. This is the second one that I have made. The first one I made was using mohair, and this is my first Cumulus blouse using Surrey held double. So I knit size extra small, and I used Explorer Knit Surrey alpaca lace held double in the colorway Thea, which is, the camera cannot do the colorway justice, truly. It is a really soft, dreamy, cloudy, like pink, purple, blue, but all subtle, like pastel colors, but it's not overpowering, like it just blends together so nicely, and it makes the softest Surrey sweater. Cumulus blouse. I am going to make a bajillion Cumulus blouses, with every single colorway that looks pretty in Surrey, which is pretty much every colorway, so there will be more of these this year, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, Cumulus blouse with Surrey held double. It is the softest, fluffiest, most comfortable sweater. And it's so soft. So I started this September 28th and I finished it October 18th. Okay. Oh, I just love a good Cumulus blouse. Okay, I feel like I haven't talked about a test knit in a while. So this was my next test knit. This is the Dad's Sweater test knit for Emily Curtis, Gently Chaotic Knits. And it is a staple sweater with large sleeves that are just the perfect size for maximum comfort, in my opinion. And I made size 1 with the standard shoulder size because there is also broad shoulder size for this pattern, which is really great. It's very size inclusive. And the yarn I used was the recommended yarn, which is La Bien Aimée or La Bien Aimée Corey worsted in the colorway High Garden. and I have plans to make more of this sweater because I love it that much. So I will be making this sweater again. It's a great pattern. Emily Curtis is a great designer. She's also from Seattle, so I don't know if that makes me biased, but she really is like a great person. I've met her once at La Mercerie, and she's so friendly, so lovely, and I also love watching her podcast on YouTube. So if you haven't watched her podcast, highly recommend. So fun to watch. And yeah, so I started this September 12th and I finished it October 21st. I really enjoyed making this sweater and I can't wait to make another one, truly. So good. I also love the color. I also think this was my first La Bien Aimé yarn, so that was really fun, very enjoyable as well. Okay, I need another water break. Oh. Okay. Ooh. Next up. Oh, this is another sweater that I really like and want to make again. This is the Orangey Sweater by Beatrice Mace. And it has an all-over texture, which is what drew me to the pattern in the first place. I forget what it's called, but it looks kind of like basket-y, rib-y, slip stitch-y, but looks really, or waffle-y. I think that's kind of like the texture that it looks like. And it's very comfortable. Next time though, for sure, I'm gonna make a size smaller. So this still fits me, it fits fine, but I do, if and when I make it again, I will make it a size smaller just to have a bit more of a, because it is really wide. It makes a nice drape, but I would like a maybe more fitted sweater version next time. The yarn I use is Woolberry Berry Natural. So it is Woolberry's non-superwash base. It's the first time that I used it and it is so soft. I think it is softer than the non-superwash base. So I was pleasantly surprised. I love it so much. I have been and will be buying more of the Berry Natural base from Woolberry. It is so good, so good, so soft. Like seriously, it actually is, I think, softer than the than the superwash base. It is so good. And the colorway I use is Sandcastle, which, if you know me, is, I mean, I would say is like the perfect colorway. It's a very muted, dusty pink. It's not too pink, looks neutral, but still hints of pink, blush pink. It's so good. So, do want to make this sweater again. Love the Woolberry Berry Natural base. And yeah, so this sweater has also been getting a lot of wear from me. Oh, this size is a size B, so next time I will make size A. And I started this October 9th and I finished it October 23rd. Yep. All right, let's keep on going. Okay, so we're almost there. We're almost there. Hang on, hang in there with me. Okay, so next is the outline tank, which I've been wanting to make for a while and finally found a yarn that I wanted to make it with. Outline Tank by Jessie May Designs. I made size small. Next time I think I'll make the size extra small, one size smaller, but this still fits really nicely. The yarn I use is Explore Knits in Denali Sock in the colorway Strawberry Swirl, which is just so fun and bright and very summery, maybe even spring-y. It literally looks like ice cream and I love it so much. And yeah, I wore it in Hawaii because like what better time to wear a nice tank top. And yeah, so I started this October 18th and I finished it November 1st. And I can definitely see making this top again because I think with this size I use a little over 1 skein of yarn. So if I go down a size, I'm pretty sure I could make it with 1 skein of yarn. which would be perfect for those one-off skeins that I have as well. So I definitely see myself making this top again. The dropped stitch detail is also really fun and super fun to also do. A little scary because worried it's going to unravel everything, but if you do it, follow the instructions, you'll be good. So that's another fun knit. I started that October 18th and I completed it November 1st. And then I have another awesome test knit. So this makes me so happy. And my boyfriend also loves, like he said that this is a really cool sweater and he doesn't normally, he's always like, well, you know, my knitted sweaters look like knitted sweaters, but he really liked this one. So I think that says something for the pattern. So this is the Winona Polo test knit for Emily Chen, and I believe that this is her first design, which is crazy to me because it's like absolutely amazing. So I test knit size 1 and I used 4 different yarns. They're like different brands, different dyers, different like make of the yarn, or like what the content of the yarn is. So hopefully really quickly. So the peachy color, Big Little Yarn Co. Trusty Sock in the colorway Sakura. Then the white is Knit Picks Bear Capretta Superwash in the Bear colorway. And then I have the dark pink, which is Sorella Classic Sock in Terracotta. And then the green is Woolberry Berry Cashmere in the colorway Green Gables. This, again, I have no idea how I came up with these colors together, but I think it came out really nice. Like, I really like the colors together. And the pattern is great. The design is great. Emily, as a designer, and also through the test knit process, amazing, fabulous. Love her so much, and I'm super looking forward to her next upcoming designs, and I highly recommend, 1, getting her patterns, and 2, if you like test knitting, to test knit for her because it went amazingly. She's so helpful, and I could not recommend enough. So good. And I love, like, even though this used fingering weight yarn, it went by honestly pretty fast for me. Ooh, also I love the cuffs on these. I could go on and on about this sweater, but just bottom line is it's so good. It's so good. I'm really, really happy with it. So yeah, I started that September 2nd and I finished it November 4th. Okay. Next up. Another great one. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay. This is Anne's Puffed Sleeves by Amy Sher, size B. I used Woolberry Berry DK in the colorway Burrow. All the details, the raglan lace details, puff sleeves. The first time I did a box pleat on any knitted thing, and the fit is great. Knitting it was so fun. It fits really nicely. Did I say that already? I love the colorway on this design. I'm always worried about using variegated yarn. Like, I love variegated yarns, but sometimes it doesn't match the design or doesn't, work well, but I think it works really well with this design, so I'm really happy with it. It looks very fall sweater vibe, and I really love that. And I also finished this really quickly. So I started this November 1st, and I finished it November oh, you can tell that I've been talking for a while. So started this November 1st, finished it November 9th. Yeah, okay. Moving on. Okay. Again. Another good design. I keep saying this about every design now. This is the Moonset Pullover, and this is actually, again, my second one. So I've knitted one previously, I think the year before, but this was the 2022 version for me. The Moonset Pullover is by Ozetta. I knit the size extra small, and I used Paisley Knits, the yarn base Sailing Sport, which is the 100% baby alpaca base, and the colorway I use is Kyoto. So again, as you can see, a trend here, I think I'm really been liking the natural pink, taupe, gray, brown kind of colors. Again, I don't know how Coley of Paisley Knits does this, but the variegated colorways just blend so nicely. So you can tell it's variegated, but it's not, like, there's no color pooling, and it looks blended. Like, that's all I don't know how to describe how that color looks, but it's great. I love it so much. This Sailing Sport base, it works perfect for this sweater. The baby alpaca is so soft, and it has such a good drape on it, and again, this has been getting a lot of wear from me lately. I've just really liked it. So yeah, I started this October 26th, and I finished it on November 12th. Alrighties. Next are some socks. These were really fun socks to make. These are the Day Hike socks by Huga Canyon Knits. I made size 1, and these came from, so the yarn came as a kit, not a kit, but like from Camp Woolberry. So if you're in the Woolberry Collective, there was a camp in, must have been October, and if you bought a box, you could get this yarn and the pattern to match with it, and I think they're really cute like this. I think the colorways are really cute together, and yeah, so I used a sock set, the minis that came with it, the 3 minis, so this dark blue, the gold, and the magenta color didn't have colorway names, but the main color for the socks is called Camp Woolberry. And let's see, yeah, I started one pair on the day of the camp when there was some knitting time, and then I finished it later on. So I started it October 8th, and I finished it November 12th. And they're really cute. Also, I really like the 2 colored heel, which makes it extra fun as well. Yeah. Alright, the next one I don't have with me because it was a gift to someone else. I made the Hyacinth Bucket Hat pattern by Sari Nordland, and it was the first time I made in general, and it was a knitted bucket hat, which is really interesting, and hopefully I will remember to put a picture here. I used the Lily Sugar and Cream Solids and Denim yarn, which is a cotton yarn, and I used the colorway Indigo, which is a dark blue. My gauge was off. I held the yarn double because I think the pattern said it used a bulky cotton yarn, and that one was a DK, so I decided to hold it together, but my gauge was like huge, but I didn't have time to kind of figure that out, so I just played around with it, and I just kept checking to make sure it looked and fit okay, and I think it came out pretty cute. So I think I will make it again. I think my mom wants me to make one for her, so hopefully in the future I'll have time to make one, but it's very interesting, very cute. And yeah, I started it November 15th, and I finished it November 17th. So I just worked on it like all day. I will say it kind of hurt my hands to make, so maybe I'll look for a crocheted bucket hat version instead, because the knitting I think because the yarn's really stiff, or the texture is supposed to be pretty stiff to hold like the brim, it kind of made it really hard on the hands to knit, but we'll see if I make it again. Okay, time for Miles shirt jacket number 2. So this is the second one I made, and I knit the same size, extra small, but this time I was more on gauge. I used Sorella Classic DK yarn, and The colorway I use is Rest, which is a really light brown. And so even though I knit the same size, since my gauge was smaller, the outcome of this is a smaller shirt jacket. I don't think I calculated the amount of yarn correctly, so I only had enough to make one pocket, but I think that's fine. I don't know. I mean, I'll probably just wear this at home, so that's fine. And yeah, so I also ended up having to make the body shorter, but it still is fine. Like it's not like a cropped length. It's like a normal length now. And I actually really enjoy wearing this. It's something that's very easy to put on, and that's what I like in a kind of cardigan type, or in this case a shirt jacket. Just something that's easy to throw on when I get a little cold. So yeah, I started this November 12th and I finished this on December 3rd. Yeah, another fun project. And okay, we're getting down to it now. So, I don't think I've shown this. Actually, I don't think I've shown some of the newer finished things on my Instagram yet, and this is one I haven't shown on my Instagram yet. This is the Great Gingham Raglan by Jessie May Designs. I made size small, and it's the first time I've used the spin cycle dyed in the wool yarn, which is really fun to make, fun to use. So the yarn I use, the colored yarn, is spin cycle dyed in the wool in the colorway Pale September, which is exclusive to La Mercerie. And then the brown color I use is Woolberry in Berry Cormo, which is the first time I've used a Cormo based yarn. And that colorway, the brown colorway, is called Graham Cracker. I think it matches really nicely together. I'm really happy with the end product, and it was a very interesting construction. My only thing about it is I think the neckline is a bit too high for me, so it kind of like makes my neck a little itchy, but it's fine. It's still really cute. And again, like, it was so fun to use the yarn that like gradually like fades into different colors, which is really neat. And so I'm looking forward to using maybe more dyed in the wool yarn in the future. And yeah, I've been eyeing this pattern for a while, so I'm really glad that I finally got to make it. And yeah, I started this October 28th and then I finished it December 9th. So it did take me some time to make, but it's cute and definitely worth it. Okay, and then I have a hat or a beanie. So this is, and I can put this on, this is the Manhattan Hat Bulky by Tori Yu, and it is, I mean, I never really make beanies. This is like the one beanie I made last year. I made it in one day. I made the size adult M, and I used Woolberry Berry Bulky, which is the first time that I bought, it's my first like bulky base hand-dyed yarn, and I knew I wanted to make a beanie with it, and so I made this one. I used the colorway Sandcastle, which is the same colorway but different yarn base that I used for the orangey sweater, and I am in trouble because I love the bulky base yarn for this hat. Like the combination of the bulky base yarn and this hat design, it's so comfortable and I really like it. I almost never wear beanies, and now I'm trying to find every excuse to wear this beanie out because I really like wearing it. So that's been a lot of fun. I definitely see more Manhattan hats in my future, and if they're bulky, or maybe the other, I think she has other Manhattan hats but in different yarn like weights, so I will probably also get those patterns as well because I really like it. And I'm surprised at how much I like this beanie. I love the design. It's so cute. It's so simple, but like there's something about it that just makes it like special. So I really have been just trying to find every excuse to wear this when I go out. So really like it, but I'm also like, I don't need another reason to buy more yarn. I need to watch what kind of yarn I buy. And now I found out I like bulky hand-dyed yarn. I'm in trouble, but okay, anyway. Yeah, so again, also I finished this in one day. It was actually in one night, which again is super nice. And so yeah, I made this on December 14th and been wearing it every day since. No. Okay. All right, so last couple things here. I also did not show this on my Instagram yet. This is the Soho top. Again, please don't mind the crease from the fold. This is the Soho top by Kadri. I've been wanting to make it since I saw the pattern, and I finally got to make it. And I used woolberry, of course, berry merino, which is a fingering weight yarn, and I held it double to make this top in the colorway Haven, which is a really pretty like rose pink color. And I made size 2. This knitted up really quickly. I started it December 15th and finished it December 19th. And it got lots of wear from me in Hawaii. I was worried that because it was kind of a DK weight yarn that it would feel hot, but I didn't feel that hot wearing it in Hawaii, which was super nice. And yeah, it is garter stitch, which is nice to do when you're working flat, but once you join in the round, it is alternating one row of knit, one row of purl, but I don't actually mind purling too much lately. So it was totally fine and worth it for me, and I think it's really cute. So that is the Soho top. And then, oh, I also have not shown this top on a podcast or my Instagram because I finished it, I casted it on from the time between the last time I filmed a podcast episode till now, is when I casted it on and finished. So the only thing is it's not blocked yet, but it still counts as finished, I think. I've been wanting to make this so badly, and so I'm really glad I finally did. Slanty Stripes by Emily Curtis. It is so cute. I made size 1, and I also love my yarn choices for this. Let me show the back. Oh, it looks really good on camera. This is the first time I've seen it on camera. I want to block it today so that it can be like finished. So I used, for the main body color, I used Coast to Coast yarn, which is the first time I've bought from Coast to Coast. Classic sock base in the colorway Unexpected Friendship. And then for the stripes, I used a tonal mini set from the Yarn Addict Co. And the set was called Fiber Friends, which I think it's funny because the Coast to Coast yarn is called Unexpected Friendship, and the tonal mini set was called Fiber Friends. And so those are the colors I used, and I think it came out really cute. And I think what was super helpful, because I have a really hard time imagining colors and matching colors together for knits and stuff, that Emily on her website has on her website there's like a coloring book page on there that you can change colors and change like where you want the designs and the slants to go, so you can see it and plan it out first before you start knitting. And it honestly was so helpful for me to plan out the colors for this. I think it looks really cute. Even though it was not blocked yet, I already wore it a lot. I wore it in Hawaii, and yeah, again, excited to block this and get a lot of wear out of it, even more wear out of it. So I'm really happy with that. I finished this pretty quickly. So I started it December 11th, and I finished this December 25th. Finished it on Christmas? Okay. Oh, I know what it was. I finished weaving in the ends, I think, on Christmas. So that is, there were a lot of ends to weave in, not gonna lie, but it was definitely worth it. So, yep. That is the slanty stripes. I'm so happy I have a slanty stripes now because I love that design. Okay, and then I have a cardigan. It is a test knit that's currently going on, but I did finish my version before the end of the new year, or before the start of the new year, before the end of the year. But I washed it, like it's blocking right now, so it's a little damp, but I still want to show it. Hopefully it doesn't ruin the blocking by holding it up. I'll put it back right after this. This is the Morecella Cardigan test knit for Alex from Fair and Rose. And, well, okay, it is done knitting, so I'm calling it done, but I still need to sew on the buttons, as you can tell, with those stitch markers. I made size extra small. It is a faux cable cardigan. And, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited for this. I'll get close so you can see the stitch pattern. And the yarn I use is the first time I used De Rerum Natura Penelope in the colorway Chocolat Chaud. So to me it looks like very like dusty rose, mauve-y, like pink brown. Love that color. I think it'll be good as a cardigan color to match with a lot of things. And yeah, more to show for this once I'm finished with it, like completely finished. But I am calling the knitting done in 2022, so that's why it's here. I started it December 4th and I completed it December 28th. So yeah, again, more to come for this one. Let me carefully put it back on my drying thing here. Okay, and then are we at the end? Is this the last thing I have to show? We are at the end. This is the final one. So I also finished this cardigan. Literally, it was on New Year's Eve. New Year's Eve, I finished this cardigan. There are no buttons on it, but again, I finished knitting it. It is done blocking, so I'm calling it done in 2022. I knitted and what is it called? Sewn on the neckband on New Year's Eve, December 31st. My last finished object of 2022. This is the Fier cardigan by Fiber Tales. It is, so I made size small. It is the first knitted garment that I have knitted with tweed yarn, and so I'm really excited about this. It's my first time using tweed yarn, and I'm really happy with it. And I used Woolberry tweed fingering, and I did not put down the colorway. I think it's called For Good and Proper. It is the brown color from the Downton Abbey collection, and the only thing with using a dark yarn is it's a little hard to see the stitch details on here, so it's pretty much stockinette. But there is this caliper cable thing on the sides where the front and backs are seamed together. There is a split hem, which is really cute. And yeah, so again, probably more finished object pictures to come for this once I sew on the buttons and take some pictures, but I finished knitting it and seaming everything together, weaving in the ends on New Year's Eve. So again, my last finished object of 2022. Yay! Okay, which also means it is the last thing to show on this video of everything that I've knit and crocheted in 2022. So if I did the counting correctly, that should have been 66 finished objects. And I am still shocked. Like, I knew I knitted a lot last year. I think it was the most I've knitted in a year. It was like my time to shine, I feel like, but I did not think it was going to be anything near 66 projects. That is crazy. That is, I don't know. It's crazy. I mean, there were a lot of tank tops and socks, which are smaller projects, but still a substantial amount of sweaters, long sleeve cardigans, and yeah, it's a bit crazy seeing them all piled up here. So anyway, I really hope you enjoyed watching this. I think it's a really long video, but you know, maybe you have it on in the background, you just check in for when I'm showing what the piece is, or if you hear of a pattern that you also like and want to see what yarn I'm using or something like that. I know it was a long one. Thank you for sticking around to the end if you did. I hope that was fun. It was fun for me because it's the first time I actually looked back at an entire year of knitting for me. And yeah, I mean, I said this maybe in like my first podcast episode, but I used to knit when I was in elementary school and then stopped when kind of school and stuff happened, you know, have to study and all of that, and then picked it back up in 2020. And so I kind of just haven't stopped knitting since 2020, and this is the first year that I've looked back at a year of knitting, so this is pretty crazy to me. I'm hoping to do like plans for 2023, like a video on that. I don't know if it'll be a separate video from a podcast or if I'm just going to include it in one of my podcast videos, but yeah, I have lots of plans for this year. I don't know if I really want to set any goals for how many things I want to knit for this year, because I don't know if I really, like, if I end up knitting around the same amount of things I did last year, that would be fine, like if it turns out that way, but I don't want to set a goal to knit even more things because this is crazy. I have a lot of yarn, so it would be good to use it, but you know, 66 projects is crazy. I don't know where I'm going to put everything after another year of knitting, but it makes me excited because I keep seeing more designs that are amazing and awesome. So yeah, I mean, more test knitting, something I definitely want to do. Using more suri because I'm obsessed still, and yeah, just getting to learn about more designers and more yarn dyers, and yeah, just learning, still learning. There's a lot of techniques that I think some I probably still don't even know about, and some I just haven't found a pattern that uses it yet that I want to, but there are still so many things to learn for knitting, and so we'll see what kind of new things happen and that I learned this year of knitting. But okay, video has been long enough. I think it's been over 2 hours, so yeah, again, thank you for sticking all the way through. If you did, let me know in the comments down below if there was one that you really, really liked that you saw from this year. I'd love to know your opinion. And yeah, all right, I won't keep any more of your time. I hope you're having a great day whenever you're watching this. And Happy New Year, Happy 2023, and I'll talk to you in my next video. Bye!